NYC Couch Potato has squatted in 90-year-old Rabbi's house for years. This is yet another article of an elderly person being forced to house someone else. In this article, the person wasn't even a landlord, but someone helping out someone in need. A 90-year-old rabbi's life has been turned upside down by a brazen squatter who moved into his living room 2 years ago and shows no sign of making her exodus anytime soon. Accused agitator Rosalie Moskowitz, 67, allegedly took advantage of the kindness of Rabbi Meir Leifer and his family, who gave her a place to stay in his 2-bedroom West 28th Street apartment when she had nowhere to go at the dawn of the pandemic, according to his daughter Daniela in court records. There are some images from the article. Here we see the squatter has lots of junk in the back. This is more focused on the squatter's junk and the sofa she took over. At least this part of the living room seems to be kept orderly. But the Mensch's mitzvah was repaid with unimaginable chutzpah. Moskowitz pays bumpkins in rent and spends days after day planted on the rabbi's brown suede sofa, vegetating, according to Daniela in Manhattan Housing Court papers seeking her ouster. I don't know what some of these words mean, and I don't care too much to repeat. However, I do understand that she pays nothing for rent. She's just weird. She just sits there and reads or sits there quietly staring off into space. I don't really understand what's going on, Daniela said. Great, the person is calm and doesn't cause physical issues. At least that's what I get from this quote. Moskowitz, who inexplicably got a letter of support from Manhattan Borough President Mark Levin's office as she fights to stay in Leifer's home, has commandeered the rabbi's television, leaves the window in a tiny apartment open, even when it's cold, and once barricaded herself in the bathroom and called the cops during an argument with one of Leifer's kids, Daniela said. This shows how much the city loves criminals and give them more rights than homeowners. While in the previous statement, we get a sense of the squatter was calm and not intrusive, we see in this one statement that the personality is opposite of that. The squatter takes control of everything, what the elderly man can watch on TV, the temperature in the house, in which the elderly is more susceptible to sickness. And the squatter also felt empowered to call the cops on the owners. That sounds like it would be very stressful for an elderly person to have to go through all these things. Where are the people that care so much about the elderly or senior citizens? Her being there is so insulting. For months, he was just angry about it and helpless. It just roused him up emotionally, Daniela said of her father, who struggles with dementia. Let an old man who can barely walk, let him go and watch the news, and the TV in his living room. He might not outlive this, she said. A disheveled and mess Moskowitz called 911 when a post visited the apartment last week. Daniela Leifer met Moskowitz in February 2020 through an acquaintance who was trying to help her find a place to stay. With the pandemic raging, the family had moved Meir Leifer out of town with relatives for a few months and let Moskowitz camp out in his 2-bedroom co-op in his absence, the rabbi's daughter explained. By June, Meir was back and Daniela paid for Moskowitz to rent a room elsewhere, but it didn't last. Moskowitz showed up on the rabbi's doorstep again in February 2021, needing a place to stay. My dad didn't know who she was. He's a little bit forgetful, said Daniela Leifer, of the father of 5 and grandfather of 7. The rabbi fell in his bedroom on October 2021 and was sprawled alone on the floor for hours with a head injury while Moskowitz sat in the apartment, the family contends. The injured Leifer was discovered by a visiting friend. He now has a full-time live-in aide. The family was forced to go to court in an effort to get Moskowitz out because she stayed for more than 30 days, the magical number in New York law which gives somebody squatters' rights. This is a lesson to not to be too nice to people. By giving, a lot of people would just keep taking and never pay or give back. They will find more things to take or even just outright steal. Like previously stated, the person took control over the TV and home temperature. A lot of people that likes to take only cares about themselves. Don't be around them if you can. There's a reason why people give to the needy by only contributing some money. When they send in their kids to volunteer, it helps show them the behavior of those people. For instance, I've seen bums where they would ask you for to buy them some lunch. They don't need your money, they claim, and they're just hungry. Someone would buy them food and the bum picks over whatever they want and trash the rest of the food. Later, the exact same person is begging others for whatever else. If you are going to be charitable, just be from a distance. Don't interact with them. There's a chance you are possibly could get in trouble or lose even more, just like this elderly homeowner. Rabbi Leifer, who spent 42 years as head of the congregation Emuneth Israel, or the Chelsea Shoal, sued in May to evict Moskowitz. She sought emergency rental assistance from the state in a bid to stave off the court action. Leifer contends in the litigation. Such help was meant to boost tenants struggling to stay afloat during the economic shutdowns sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic. But in some cases, squatters have taken advantage of the pandemic-inspired legal changes, including then-Governor Cuomo's eviction moratorium and financial hardship declarations, which paused a case but didn't require tenants to submit proof of their monetary woes. The eviction attempt should be paused because she's a senior citizen and hadn't been able to obtain a lawyer, Moskowitz asserted in her legal response. The court denied Moskowitz's bid for rental help because she was never a rent-paying tenant. By going through the pictures, we can see this guy was active in life. From the previous paragraphs, he contributed and worked with the community. This man is truly a desirable member of society. He helps build and maintain social bonds. When one of us is lifted, we are all lifted. It doesn't seem that he held people back. Now that he's elderly, he's not being taken care of by the city in which he helped so much. There's no need to assist him, even though he's a senior citizen. However, the squatter being a senior citizen is important per the squatter's lawyer. And somehow, it skips the squatter's mind that the person's life she is taking over and destroying is a senior citizen and someone that's older than her. These people don't care for others, and it's always about them and what they should get, and don't care who is being hurt. It's unclear why or how Levin's office got involved in the legal case. The September 1st letter to the housing court gushes support for the accused squatter, while never mentioning the ill elder rabbi whose home she's taken over. The legal and court structures have facilitated this. How is this allowed to go on? Said the rabbi's daughter. Why is this a thing that after 30 days an unpaying guest that you're trying to be nice to can just screw you over and drag you through the courts? It shouldn't be. This article really shows to not to be too personal with people you help. In this case, it was a squatter taking over somebody's house. You get punished for helping out people, and those bums seem to get all of the legal help. In general, don't expect people when you are in need, like these less elderly landlords in this rabbi. At least this rabbi should know someone from over these 40 years that could help him out, whether legal or a place to stay to get taken care of. Well, so regardless of all he did over the years and those he helped, no one is helping him. While I'm not saying don't help others, you have to first focus on yourself and protect what you have. I know there are some people that are very devious, and it could seem that what they are doing is benign, like just staying in your home for a short time, but then it becomes something detrimental, like junking up your house and such. You have to have yourself in a pretty great condition to be able to aid others. You might need some backups like money, property, or what have you. It's bad, it's bad as to where we are at as a society. But it is what it is. The government, or in this case specifically Manhattan Borough President Mark Levin's office, supports bums that take over other people's property, force elderly people from doing simple things like sitting on their own couch and watching TV. They don't support hard-working people that took care of the community, who worked hard for 40 years and tried to help out someone else. Us workers have no one on our side except for ourselves. I'll be surprised if by the time I retire, I will get any Social Security, which is a program that needs to end, but that's a different subject. So I would not be able to rely on that. I would have to rely on everything else that I worked for. Also, these people that love to say housing is a human right, help the homeless, help those and these people, they personally do nothing for them. They just want taxpayers to put money towards them and have others house them to face the legal consequences. They know to help from a distance, and anyone else is screwed. If those groups cared so much, they can easily get together, sacrifice their own money, make a business that does what they want done. But it's not actually about helping. It's about controlling others. So, keep diversifying your portfolio, keep protecting yourself as however you can.